#United, the football team that everyone associates with YouTube, the Wembley Cup, FIFA. But just 8 years on from this team's formation, # are now only a few steps away from the Football League. Today I'm travelling to Essex to have a look at this club's incredible rise from YouTube videos to semi-professional football. Let's go. Well, we're driving along the M25 now, we're nearly at the ground and my dad's here, and I wanted to ask you a question to try and get some sort of an idea of how well this team are known. When you hear #United, what do you think, even if you don't know the team, which I'm sure you don't, what do you think?
Sounds like something you have at breakfast, hashtag and eggs, right? It's the kind of thing that's...
I think that's hash browns, but that's the sort of idea I wanted to find out, because obviously they're a relatively new football club. They're not linked to a specific area. They're constantly ground sharing and ground topping because they don't own their own stadium yet. So it must be difficult for them to build up their own fan base. Right, we've arrived here at the Len Salmon Stadium, home to Bowers and Pitsea FC, but this season also home to #United. It's a beautiful sunny day, so let's get inside and explore some more about this club's history. Now, looking at how # came into existence, they were originally formed as a team by FIFA YouTuber Spencer Owen, whilst he was at university, called Carmichael Brown's Athletic FC. But he changed the name of the club to #United FC in 2016.
We wanted to use YouTube as a platform to create, the brand of the club and then see where we went with it. I wouldn't say it was definitely we're going to do non-league and we're definitely going to get through the system, but that was always an option we liked. I grew up around non-league football and we enjoyed the idea of making content around it. I'd done it previously actually, but yeah, it's easy to connect dots backwards sometimes. The reality is there's lots of little decisions back to back to back which create a story. Yeah. Whether it's the youth team coming on board, the women's team coming on board, we hadn't planned for those things, but they were good opportunities, so we took them.
They played games like friendlies and exhibition matches all across the world, including the Wembley Cup, an annual tournament between 2015 and 18, which was also invented by Spencer. Teams in this tournament were made up of YouTubers, ex-professional footballers and celebrities, with the teams decided by YouTube football challenges, which all happened in the build-up to the day of the games. Some standout players who featured in the Wembley Cup were YouTubers Chris MD and Theo Baker, and ex-professional footballers Robert Pires and Cafu. The teams included Sidemen FC, the F2 FC and of course #United.
Me doing the first Wembley Cup pre # was what maybe gave me the incentive to make more football content, real life football content, and then make #. So Wembley Cup's definitely a pivotal moment in the story. And then getting to play at the third Wembley Cup with the actual #boys was very special. Not only to give your mates the opportunity to play in front of 34,000 people, but obviously to win the game. And in the way we did, I think it helped further the story, definitely.
Now, the Wembley Cup is the main thing that got #United's name out there, and ahead of the 2018-19 season they became a proper football team, entering into the English football pyramid. Also in 2018, former Chelsea captain and Spanish international player Cesar Azpilicueta invested some money into the club, becoming a co-owner, which brought in a lot of publicity and also some extra cash.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think publicity-wise we did a great deal. I think we were very respectful of Cesar's position. When you're a footballer, particularly at the time, who's active at Chelsea, and you make these kind of what would probably be considered by some people as an interesting, controversial maybe investment. You don't want to do anything that upsets the apple cart. If you then lose your next game for Chelsea, he'll get criticism. So we kept it pretty quiet. Obviously the money helps, any investment is good, but it wasn't game changing. It was more about getting him on board as a person. And he has been a very useful ally in those 6 years now he's been on board, and good friend. And we do appreciate him getting on board. I think it helped people maybe take us a bit more serious, because you're kind of like, oh, well, if Premier League football is getting on board, it's a proper operation,
With the investment, several new players and now a full management team, # began their climb up the English football pyramid and saw immediate success, winning the Eastern Counties Division 1 South at first try. Then in 2020, # merged with already established football club AFC Basildon and Forest Glade, allowing # to expand from just a men's team to now a club with over 40 teams of boys, girls, men and women. The 2021 season, of course, was postponed because of COVID, but promotions and relegations still took place, and Hashtag were left with the best points per game record in the league, so were promoted again, this time into the Isthmian League North. And after a decent first season in that division, last season came another promotion, Hashtag winning the league after going on an incredible 21 game winning streak. And now we're here in the Isthmian Premier Division amongst some non-league giants like Dulwich Hamlet and Enfield Town, and just 3 promotions away from League 2 football. It's been a rapid rise up the English pyramid. You know, you're amongst some non-league giants now and not too far off of the Football League.
Yeah, that's right.
How much work has gone in behind the scenes, and what have you had to commit to the club to get them to where they are nowadays?
Yeah, a hell of a lot of work. You know, not just myself. There's a lot of people involved in the club. You've met some of them today that make everything possible. In terms of commitment, it's been timed, quite frankly, because we spend what we make. Like, you know, we haven't got a wealthy benefactor putting money in. Like, in fact, most of our opposition do. The ones that are good anyway, the ones that are winning now at this level, you need a lot of money. And we spend what we make, so we're really proud of that. It's not going to get the headlines that winning titles gets, but really what we've created is a very alternative but very sensible and genuinely realistic revenue model for a football club. Unfortunately, it can't be repeated by everyone because our uniqueness is kind of our calling card, and not everyone can be unique in the same way. But I think we've shown there's different ways to make money in football, and hopefully inspired some people to think outside the box but be sustainable.
In terms of the future for Hashtag United, I know you're at Aveley next season, ground
That's right,
sharing, but is there much in the background about your own stadium? How much you're going to be investing to climb up the leagues further?
Yeah, there's always stuff ticking over the staging thing. It's not a straightforward thing. You know, there's lots of different ways it can and can't work, and most teams in non-league, you know, they might be 100 years old. They might have had, some of them even get a ground donated to them or some land donated to them, or the permissions were different back in the 50s or whatever. It's much harder to do it now. So it's a slow process, and quite frankly, it probably would have been premature if we got a stadium before now anyway, because we've been climbing so much. The ground grading might not be what we needed it to be. We needed to level out first. I think in terms of level, that's kind of what we're looking at doing. We certainly don't want to go any lower. Going higher, that comes with a lot of expense. So if we do it, it will be as a result of moneyballing it, as they say, not spending a lot of money that other teams might spend. But we're certainly still ambitious. But I say that question is a good one, because the stadium is probably more important for our long-term development now than actually going up again is. We'd rather get that bit right first, and then we can look ahead and see where we can go. But we're always going to be competitive on the pitch. We're never going to look to be in a league that we can't theoretically win. But there's certainly no expectations on going up for the sake of it at this point. It's more about sustaining ourselves, growing the community, growing the fan base at games, sustaining and growing the fan base online, and getting a home.
Hashtag have got their own YouTube channel as well, where they do things like little documentaries for each match day. And I mean, you can see the numbers, 644,000 subscribers. They're verified on YouTube, and they're consistently getting over 100,000 views per video, you know, against teams like, no disrespect to them, but look, Kingstonian, Canvey Island, Potters Bar, and they're all getting over 100,000 views. And I don't think without things like this on YouTube, these teams, Kingstonian, Potters Bar, etc., they would never in a million years dream of being seen by over 100,000 people. We've been to a lot of clubs now, to be fair, where it's been driven by social media and YouTube. There's Dorking, they've got the Bunch of Amateurs documentary. Farnham, sponsored by the Sidemen, and I think they're sponsored by another podcast now. We've got here, they've obviously been formed by a YouTuber. It definitely helps the clubs. There's so much more, you know, presence on social media. It drives more people to come to the games rather than going to your Premier League and your bigger clubs. I then spoke to Marcus Stamp, who works for Hashtag's media team. You mentioned social media. How much do you think that's helped the club rise? Obviously, Spencer in the background, that must have been the main thing why you got people coming down, like me, for example, getting the club's name out there. How much has helped grow the club?
I would say it's the biggest thing that's helped the club, to be honest. I think it's what sets us apart from like all the other non-league clubs, and I think that's why it's a bit like Marmite, you either love it or hate it. Some people come from a culture where social media and football are two like very different things, whereas we've kind of combined the two. I think it's cool, man. I don't understand personally, obviously it's going to be biased, right? But I don't understand how you can hate on a club that's doing well. Like, if you do, I think it's just a bit weird.
I mean, you've got Dorking, they've got their documentary,
Yeah.
and that's helped them a lot. And I know that hashtag also got an esports team playing FIFA.
Yeah.
Talk me through what that's all about for someone who doesn't know what esports is. How's that come about?
First of all, the esports angle just came from just obviously Spencer's background. Like obviously he has the FIFA player, well allegedly the FIFA player angle, and he's played FIFA for many years. So I think it was almost always a dream of his to kind of somehow get into that competitive space.
Right.
And although we don't really do it that much anymore, we kind of have our own thing going with the hashtag house, which is still really, really good, all about like playing the game and content and stuff like that. And I think it's something that should be celebrated rather than kind of looked down upon. I think if you don't know, get to know, do your research, and you'll actually find, okay, cool, it's not just sitting there playing a game. It is so much more that goes into it. There's coaching, there's a level of skill, mental ability, physical ability, all of it. I think it's just interesting.
How much of a committed fan base have you seen here at hashtag? Of course, the club's not linked to a specific area.
Yep.
Your ground sharing. Have you seen lots of people who are at the games at Tilbury now still coming to games here at Bowers, and you're going to see them next season?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of people?
Yeah, I would say we have although our base isn't as big as like the clubs that are tied to an area, I think we have very loyal fans in terms of not just the ones that are online, they also show up to games. So we've had guys travel from New Zealand, America, anywhere you can think of. And then also we have people who are from, let's say, I don't know, maybe from Thurrock or near Averley, those kind of areas, who still come to games. They come to not just first team games, they go to women's games, reserves games. And I think the best part for me is, I mean, literally, if you pan the camera, you can see a group of them just over there. We are literally an hour and 45 minutes away from kickoff, and they are here before some of the players. So that just goes to tell you, I think, personally, it's not about how many you have, it's about how much the people that are there actually support the club, and I can't fault them, to be fair.
Okay, food has arrived, and they've got a massive menu here. I know it's the Bowers and Pitsea menu, but they've got slush puppies, ice cream, all sorts. Let's have a look at this. Is it a burger? Is it a bacon and egg? Chips are nice. They've got Dr. Pepper, which is great. Nice cheeseburger too. Oh, whack some ketchup on that. How is it? Good? Yeah? It looks very nice. What a crazy game of football in the end. But despite the loss, I've really enjoyed my day here at the Len Salmon Stadium, home to hashtag United FC, and I must give a big thank you to both Neil and Marcus for speaking to me and arranging my day here. The questions that are now in my head after today and now I'm leaving the ground are more, is this the future of football? As these weeks go on and I'm going to more and more teams, I'm seeing the big names, social media, celebrities, online, documentaries pop up more and more. Even at the lowest levels here, for example, in non-league, we're still seeing some big names get involved and lots of money too. Is this the future of football though? I'm still not 100% convinced. On the one hand, yes, lots of these clubs have got that global audience. We've seen people come from all around the world. For example, Forest Green Rovers, I was at the other day, they had people jetting in from Asia, from America. I've seen other clubs recently, they've got people coming in from America and other parts of the world too. However, at the same time, you've got to also think about the people that are going to be here every single week. So whether hashtag, in the future will go on to have thousands and thousands of people coming, I'm not sure. I think it's going to take a new ground and a permanent location for that to happen. However, right now, they're doing things the right way. They've got that big online audience. They're doing well in the league, of course. This is their first season here in the Isthmian Prem, and they've had a really solid first season here. And hopefully, it's just going to be going from strength to strength in the future. Once again, thank you to everyone here at hashtag for welcoming me. Thank you for watching. Check out hashtag United's channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Good night.